Pamela, nice to hear from you. Hey, hopefully people can hear me. I made the link. People can hear me. Hopefully that's working out. Anyway, thanks for that nice greeting, Pamela, and thanks for the support always. Your family is really so supportive. Thank you so much. Um, just wondering if you can hear me, Jamie. Hey, all right, Frank and why is it not coming? Frank and Gina. There we go. I gotcha. All on my prayers. Um, so you can hear. I guess that you can hear if you're all uh, bidding your salutations. Then I guess we're good. All right. Um, thanks for coming. Revelations. Doing that was extremely difficult. Oh boy, the stuff that has happened to me in the meantime. I have to go through the loop myself if I talk about the loop. J Baba Didi. And yeah, let's just say God help us all. Really, it's like God help us. It's like yeah, no, that's a real prayer. That's about as real a prayer as there is. God help us, and it's not just for you. So it's a real prayer. God help us. It's like hey, I know who I'm talking to here. God help us. Uh, hey Jay. Okay, good. I'm being heard and fantastic. Oh my, I don't know how it's been for you, but August is the worst month in so many. This August, this eight, and me decoding Revelations was very difficult on my end. Uh, so much I don't even want to go through it all. Uh, yeah, thank you, Jay. That's boy, it's really when they're getting ready for the big next thing. It's not good. So anyway. Okay. I said I would do the name of this is like the Revelations recap of questions. We have one broken car in the driveway, and now the roof doesn't leak for the first time in 8 years. There's no even car to drive nowhere here. That's how much got taken on this. And the book that I like, hey, here are the dates and stuff for Revelations that just disappeared. We had to immediately, the place we were staying in temporarily to, you know, fix the hurricane damage in the place that we have for sale, and we fixed it enough maybe to sell it. We got a sale. It's like, oh, we're going to sell it. But our place for rent got destroyed that week that we had somebody who wanted to buy it. So we was like, no. And so we had to put a roof on the place and move in instead. So, and that's not cheap. But we had a tangle with the place that totally, got destroyed that we were living in. So we had to move, with no prior plans or nothing like that anyway. I'm just worn out, worn to the bone as usual from all this just destruction in my life. Yeah, no. And there's that, TD. Day and night. Yes, that's true. Day and night. That's never. No, I had to move back into the mobile home, and that's fine and whatever. But you know, it got destroyed in the hurricane, and it mostly got fixed, and then it's kind of almost fixed. So for a 1972 mobile home, destroyed in a hurricane and semi rebuilt. Yeah, it's a anyway. This I'm just what am I trying to get at here? Me decoding Revelation speed. I had to go through it. Period. Like total destruction, and everything. Just means I have to do it because I got to say it. So maybe, yeah, it casts a spell on creation. Whoop, but it casts a spell on me first. So that's the way it is. Yeah. Day and night, day and night, uh, day and night, Rosa, day and night. it never stops. So yeah, that's always happening nonstop. That reminds me of you know, I remember reading one of Erich's books on Bear Mama. Yeah, and I tell this story, but this Rev, yeah, I tell this story, paraphrase the story that Bear Mama said, and that was what's going on? Okay, sorry, I paraphrase it, but this guy, a seeker of God, was looking for a guru, a perfect master. Oh, hey, I heard this was perfect master, and he'd asked around. He'd been seeking God and seeking, instruction how to get to God and all that information. A seeker in India, and so he'd heard about this guy, oh, perfect master, and he's up in the mountains. He has a small home up there, and he goes up, follows a path and keeps asking people, "Is this the right way?" and so on, and then gets pointed to this house, and the windows are open. It's a lovely day. It's a pretty garden and stuff like that. And the woman's inside screaming her head off, screaming her head off. Just and then he gets closer and realizes just screaming her head off all about the guy that's supposed to be a perfect master. So he's like, and he has to sit there and listen to it and all that stuff, and it goes on. Uh, And so, and just a tip here: if you hold up your phone and start a video while they're doing it, they stop. Can't say it louder. Okay. So so uh, he's listened to this at the house, and it goes on through the windows. He's like, "Okay, this is. I got some bad information up in here." You know what I'm saying? He's up at the house. He's like, "Oh man, I got some bad information," and he listens for me. He's like, "I'm gonna leave." He's like, "I'm not looking for this kind of more." And so he turns around to go back down the path, down the mountain, and he's like, "Oh, that's the dude," from the description. He's walking up the path towards him, and he's got a tiger next to him who has a bundle of firewood on his back. Right, the orange tiger, death. And so he's awestruck by that scene next. And he's like, "Wow, this totally is the guy," But he meets the guy and he's talking with the guy and all that stuff. And so he finally asked me, he's like, "Hey, what was up with that? I went to your house and I heard all this stuff." He's like, uh, "How do you think I got the tiger to carry my firewood?" You don't think that's the deepest revelation of all? I then you I don't know what you're doing, but you're not doing it yet. Um, anyway, that's reality. So because it's not supposed to work out with a partner here other than partnering with God. You see what I'm saying? How could everyone else must fall short on that path? If you're putting your expectations of your partner to, fill the hole in your soul, it's never going to fill up. Your soul hole will never fill. You see that star that we're looking for the hole in his soul to get filled, and only God fills that. Yeah. So yeah, so that's what's I don't even that's some of what's going on. Let me get through some of the things that I wrote down because I want to recap Revelation stuff. I can't do the dates and stuff like that just because like I said, all that's missing. maybe forever, maybe for now. Just if you have to move on a dime, uh, yeah, you know, if you get 90% of your stuff there, it's amazing. And if you get any of your sanity to go with you, that's amazing too. Learned a lot in Florida. So okay, uh, been watching this Pinduoduo, right? And Timu, right? Timu, me in the middle. It's amazing. And there's another company that I haven't seen the product, but it's called Shine, or Shein, Shein, she. Uh, you know, all the piles of everything that come from what was in, you know, the horror Babylon or whatever, you know, whatever's being hidden over there in China and Taiwan, over there in Asia at the creation point that we can't see, that fills all the containers that brings everything to all the world, and everybody wants to fight over it. You know, you know, she in every like, if you're a leader of China, you got to be called she. It's like, yeah, yeah. It's a mess out there. You know, these creatures, they're not human. They're shapeshifters. We're being controlled by the humans are being controlled by non-humans that look like humans, but they're not humans. So I want you to think about this for a second. Like, what level of remorse you have when you swat a mosquito? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's stuck its, you know, needle in your arm or eyeball or neck or jugular, and they're just sucking the blood out of you. What remorse do you have uh, for swatting that mosquito? Uh, None, Jay. Thank you. Uh, but, 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 you know, is there the is the mosquito on a scale of, you know, should you? Let's call it a should you feel remorse scale of non-human creatures that are literally stabbing you and sucking out your blood. Uh, what level of remorse should you have if you killed one of them? What if they're in a mosquito form or horsefly form or, you know, wasp form or human form or whatever? Like, what, they're not human, so they're not human. They're simply not human. So, what level of remorse is the correct level of remorse for swatting a mosquito and killing it? You know what I'm saying? That's sucking out your blood. It's not trying to enslave you, by the way. It's just trying to extract your blood. So it's not as bad as a banker in any way, shape, or form, or fallen angel, yes, or the devil. So not just, you know, because it's just created that way and it's just trying to live by drinking your blood. Uh, Not doing it like, uh, or, you know, maybe it is, but, you know, what's the difference? What's the level of remorse? You see what I'm saying? Like, I just don't think people are understanding the situation. And that's my recap. I just don't think anyone really fully understands their situation because you haven't really sat next to the devil and talked to the devil face to face time after time, you know, time after time. You haven't done that. And, you know, sure, God is real. I met with God, but, you know, beat the other team full on, like, that's, you know, like, somebody say you in here to be her opponent and enemy. Okay, so you're a nobody, then our enemy's a nobody. Like, uh, so you're real. So I just don't know if maybe that's just the missing experience, you know? I don't know what it is because I don't think people have the perspective of what we're up against and what the rules are in play. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it's going into people's heart. Yeah, the end of time is coming. Yeah, but before then, You to a non-human creature, you must obey. How's that working out for the human race as it's going to the slaughtering barn? I don't think they're getting it, you know? And I guess the worst month, August been the worst month financially for me for since I've been homeless, big period. So much I guess so that just tells me it's horrible for everyone. Uh, because they're like we work so hard, and now we're down to three people, one part-time advertising paid professional and Tammy and me. That's it. That's the whole team here. That's all we can afford. We're down to the bare bones here. Yeah, Liberty Aid Academy and this adjunct. Uh it's absolutely the worst. And so that just tells me like I'm not gonna be able to wait on this free home miracle. Sorry, everybody. I'm gonna close that passage away at some point because hey, it's just gonna have to happen. Necessity is a mother of invention, You know, the miracle's needed, I guess. I don't know. Let's see what people are saying. So that's kind of you know I'm experiencing what the aggregate is. Like I'm not. There's no you know you got Christ consciousness. You're past the no. You have to feel the burden more of the weight of everything. You're the only one with full knowledge, so you get the full responsibility. Oh, that's you didn't mention that. But it's true. Yeah, think about it. If you're supposed to love your brothers and sisters, and you know the passage out, and no one else does, isn't it all you to? Aren't you the responsible party at that point? But really, you realize, well, God's the responsible party, and it really is a game everyone has to play. And there's only so much I could do for people. It's very little, honestly. I'm trying, but it's look at how many people are here. And look at how many people are in that mentor program I'm going live on. It's unreal. It's like less than 10. Need what my live assist is. I don't know if I'm gonna keep that going. It's really amazing that everything's so. Uh, I don't know. Just the truth is just absolutely not desired by the population under this dome, except for such rare parties, and they all seem to be sitting in here. That was not what I expected. You know what I'm saying? If you're responsible for getting the message out, and that's as far as you're getting, it's like I watched this show called Jade Miners or something like it's some free show on Amazon. Uh, and it's just like you can't tell nothing from the outside of the rock, and you're looking for Jade in there. It's just impossible. It's very downlifting, the job, until you get some jade, but you really gotta like some jade, you know? Like, you really gotta like a diamond, that's what I'm looking for, a diamond, like crystal Christ consciousness, you really gotta like a diamond, you know? It's just rough, and the more I decode of this thing, the more the matrix squeezes me for doing it, because nobody couldn't do it, so, uh anyway, that's just what's going on. Let me see what y'all are taking the time to type, and I'm not gonna I'm gonna look into it now. So hold on. All right, Pauletta, thank you. Happy day to you too. It's crazy. You can literally ask them for a purple elephant with a 5 unicorn horse. Like, yeah, right here, $2 through mail. Shine or TV. It's like no, when it gets here, and it's automatically trash. It's like, yeah, but they do everything just wrong a little bit. So you can't use it, or it doesn't work, or doesn't plug in, or doesn't quite do whatever you want to do. Not that I've used Shine or Chibu, but I'm just saying I haven't, but having tried to use like Alibaba. Like I can't even use it. It's so complicated. And he's like, why would I be ordering this horrible stuff anyway? I've done a really interesting fast at different times, but again lately, like um, I look for super cheap, not very expensive uh, audio equipment. Not anymore, but I did because I have what I need and stuff. So look for really inexpensive stuff that does a certain thing. Oh, okay, because I get a lot of information from sound because I have very bad hearing, and especially where it's missing. So I need to sort of fill it in. My wife is like, okay, you need a hearing aid. I was like, okay, I'll get one. It's just not one the kind that she thought I was going to get. I was like, I want to hear more people's. I don't want to hear that. So, uh, anyway, I'm just saying Timu, Shine, and all that stuff. All these piles of everything coming out of there that are, instantly just horrible enough so you don't want it. It's like wasted again. Just such a mess, of desire because that's what desire shots are. Oh, da, da, da. And they create it over there, but it doesn't quite work out. It's like everything in this stove. Oh my God, what a great meal. And then, like, well, how much longer from there are you hungry again? Oh, that was the best mountain stream, cold spring water. Oh, yeah. Thirsty again. How long? Like nothing slakes the first thirst fully. Everything in here is ultimately empty and is only a short term cured solution. That's the whole problem with everything in here. Then Jimu is just shy on Shein, and it's all the same nonsense. So you got to see it and get past those desires. So, as an example, try and grab practical methodology here, right? I was like, I watch certain things, like I was saying on eBay and stuff like that, and I actually don't watch them just to buy stuff. And so, like, I'm like, what is the price of generally stuff I know its value? What is it doing? Is going down. So it's just a way to watch kind of the economy in a certain way, to see something and its value is some, things come up now that just weren't available when everyone had money and stuff. Everyone was buying before, now everybody's selling. Just to be able to see that and see that clearly, I watch it. But my point being, sometimes I would go, "Oh, wow, that's crazy." There's a beer bottle book. This is $5. You know what I mean? Like $5. $5 is perfect mid condition. I'm like, okay, I haven't seen that one before. So, sometimes that happens, and I'd be like, oh, no, no, no. And but for a while, like when I was doing Revelations, uh, that when I was having certain all this stuff pile up and happen that just gone into a little bit of. Uh, I decided, oh, I'm going to do a fast. I'm not going to purchase anything, like I'm not going to get anything no matter how cheap it is or stuff. And fasting from that is just, the desires went away to get it or anything. I'm just sort of watching it like a tick of tape, like, oh, this is the value of stuff. And this must be people are in a tough position to sell this, that, and yeah, because people really like those things. So they wouldn't be selling them unless they were in a hard spot, kind of like that. Just watching it. But then, as a servant, for God, I'm going to fast from doing this because, you fast from doing things uh, to get help from God in our, you know, situation, wherever we find ourselves. And, we do it consciously. So as we go during the day, we're like, oh, if it's food, if it's, I wasn't going to smoke, or I'm not going to drive, or I'm not going to go there, I'm not going to, whatever it is, do the healthy things for your life. Yes. But anything that's sort of, uh, non 100% essential, or even essential items, like you don't want to mess with them too much, but do a fast of some kind like that, and you will see an outcome. That's my point. So I got an outcome. I need to know revelations. I need to tell people. So I will fast, kind of like that kind of thinking. Because when you want to get something from God, it's only right to give up something God gave you. You're asking God for something. God gave you everything you have. So it's like, oh, let me give up this. And so that just makes room inside of you in the temple to go into heart, right? Into heaven. Oh, this, hey, I need this information. And so you're making space for it. That works. So I'm just, you know, giving you some spiritual technique to solve that. Okay. I'll keep going here. Uh, Dee Dee, Jack, my question today was this: remorse for partners. Now all you can do is pray for them. I don't, and really it's just a current partner, because it's like we have family as partner. We had people who went to school with a teacher. We had more short-term partners in this game as role players in our life to propel us forward. And so having chosen this partner or whatever, it shows a weakness in us to have done it in the first place. You see, that needs to be resolved. And Mayor Baba uses this analogy that perfect masters see the rest of humans as like ants. Uh, they're hive mind ants. Like I do. Um, you've heard that from me, but doesn't that sort of make us more responsible in a way? Like I don't call them babies. Babies need quite an attention and attending to, can't attend to themselves. Ants are, they get up to all kind of crazy, whatever. Yeah. So don't they sort of need more looking after than even children and babies and everything like that? These other they need you gotta watch them, you know, make sure they don't get out of line. You gotta keep an eye on them. Do you see what I'm saying? Aren't they sort of so weak spiritually, just following a script and doing every stupid everything and never catching themselves and never changing their ways or anything? Like they caught us. They caught everybody in the dough. Oh, hey, do this. It's fun. It's great. You're like, all right, let me see. Stupid, empty after a while. You're like, and you're still doing it. That's what's wrong with you, So you begin to wonder what's wrong with them, and see them for what they are. It's just working the carnival booth, handing out. What do you want to do? Come on, anything you want. American dream, baby. Let's dream it up. Let's keep in the dome dreaming. What do you say, huh? Pray for them. And pray for everyone. What else can you do? You know, real tiny fire. Yeah. Mosquitoes, right? They can't handle this after 30 days. I wake up, show my love, and pretty pleasant. Find the same mood. I stay away, quiet. Yeah, me too. No speaking. Uh, Pretty much never. Yeah, Casa, hey, yeah. No, but that's an ejection, you know, and they don't want you here. And they put on a pretty face for the anyone that shows up. Keep their rep in line. Uh, I'm a year quarter can work on free home. Well, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, I've given out information for years, so I said how to do it. If you can't afford a donation and get in there, DD, like I make exceptions. I could get you into that course if it's something you're gonna do or want to do. But I'm just saying, like, God must want me to perform a miracle. Like nobody's interested. The Liberty Aid Academy's work at the moment, and donations. I appreciate them all that I've got are just not happening for Jesus Christ Trust. Yeah, and it's just seems to be human nature to want another miracle performed. Like the last miracles aren't enough after a certain point of time. So Oh, Jay, if a home is set to be torn down to build another home, does that count as a candidate for a free home? No, super specific attributes of the free home course should have put up, and that's really a recounting of every detail on how to do everything, every part of it. So, again, if somebody's having trouble with money and can't afford to get into that course, let me know. Can't make that donation, but that's really specific and showing websites and every single detail of my many years of work on this project. So, question on Acts 5, Alan. Would you agree that JCT is the church that was mentioned in Acts? Well, isn't that, you know, here's the thing. It's really, hey, your questions are really good, Alan. Always, and I appreciate them. Thank you. I miss the face to face ones, to be honest. Anyway, but you got a much better face to face in your daily, so I understand. Good for you. And a little ones too. I'm so happy for you all. I really am. Uh, so these scripts are really, you know, the scripts remain the same, yes, and the game remains the same, yes, and the outcome remains the same, and all that stuff it remains the same. Uh, you know, it does, but uh, that's an interesting question because that's sort of I mean, not really, not yet. You know what I'm saying? In a way, because you got to think of it, because it doesn't actually match our situation exactly. Now, does it? Because now here's the thing. It's such a good question, and it has so many good parts. I love this question. He probably knows all the answers to ask it, and is bringing me along. So, no, honestly, it's such a good question. Uh, let's go through it piece by piece. First of all, Acts is supposed to happen, right? When Jesus Christ is not around. The one with Christ consciousness, he ain't in there. He ain't in the dome. He's not there no more. Yeah, he's not there. Left the building. And so we find ourselves literally, Jesus Christ is not here. Yes, okay, that's true. Like not in a physical form with the hair. And you see the crosses, you know what he looks like. Guy walking around in the same kind of outfit I do. And, you know, uh, uh, nobody's actions, even if they dressed up like him, nobody's actions match up with personality and stuff. That guy, that character is here, right? He's not here. So he came. Jesus Christ is coming. I met with him. God is coming. God backs the form. God backs the game. God is the master of everything behind everything, and so that's going to happen. So you know, uh, Jesus is there, and this stuff happens. Not in that way, like he's walking in a body and stuff. So sort of like you get taken different ways. One, oh, this guy in physical form is walking around with Christ consciousness. Oh, okay, wow. Look at all that information he shares and what to do and stuff like that. And you don't do it like the old way, you do it like this new way. And oh, that's wow. He doesn't fully explain himself, but he's very clear on what to do, you know? Uh, but he's in and then he's out. uh, and then what happens next? Acts. The guy with Christ consciousness, he's not around no more. So we got to do what he said. And so this is an attempt to do what he said after the guy with Christ consciousness is left. So it's really difficult to think about that, because uh, they're supposedly 56, God realized souls. I mean, Sridhar knew everything about what's going on without saying a word to me ever, and totally is not evil in any way, shape, or form. Is the opposite. It was the most warm-hearted individual I've ever met in my life. So there's not a hint of darkness in him. Not a no measure, not zero. So, you know, if your God realizes stuff, and you're sitting here in the dough, so that don't really apply to them. You see what I'm saying? Because they know the game and they're pure-hearted and stuff, and they're running things before the individual who achieves Christ consciousness. Before he gets it, they got to know everything and run everything to make the game fair, so that that individual can be the first one to get Christ conscious. Oh, what? Oh, and so then you're Christ, because literally Sridhar called me, "Oh, you're God man now." I'm like, dude, what? Dude, I'm reading a book about it. I'm not supposed to. I'm trying. Uh, what? That's not what I'm. That's not what I'm trying to read the book about. I'm not trying to. I felt like a Bible lover. I was like, okay, oh yeah, all right, yeah, all right, okay. So it's very so many deep pieces to each element of Revelations. You know what I'm saying? So it's such a good question. So when you don't know who has Christ consciousness, you don't know who to ask, right? Give everything to Jesus Christ. You're good. You see, that's why the trust solves it. You don't have to know I have Christ consciousness. You're like, oh, Jesus Christ is a character. Every knee must bow, and everything my research tells me, and my experience and my prayers. That's who's read it. That's a character. That's a name. That's what to go with. This trust does it. They're all the testimonials. There's a proof. That's it. So okay, solved. You're looking for the same solution that's in that script. Okay, this solves it. Hey, and then I had to do things God tells me to do that don't go against the script and solve it, and you know have singularity. Don't have, like, yes, there's a there. I have a shadow. This place makes a shadow, but my work is shadowless. You know what I'm saying? So I would God. There's no shadow to that. There's no Your shadow must go, and you become, you know, more God-like until ultimately, you're one with God, and there is no God is one with no second. There's no duality. Duality goes away. So the only way to do that is to lose all desires and all things and everything here. So you have to give up everything here, life, desire for life, all those things. Not stop living. That's not it. No. Live in a way for God that you understand the total game, and that whatever you say and do has meaning, repercussions forever. And now you're wise to it. Oh, okay. And so now you're very careful, as steadfast, as steady, but still moving forward, acting with your actions carefully, and still doing based on your knowledge. You have to do that. You see, so that part of that script is saying that. So it's not like I'm saying this church is that exactly, but in a way it sort of is too. You know what I'm saying? So it's saying many things there, and saying what to look for. Uh, you know, you can't. In other words, there's a room full of people that give up everything for God. You can't enter that room and be in that group unless you do the same. God will stop you. Period. That's all it's saying. You see it as saying that the church is simply there's only a line in the sand, as somebody on one side of the line going, if you give up everything, you come over here, and then if you can't, you stay over there. And I'm on the other side of the line saying, hey, here's how I got over here. And so it does. This method clears that up, and it fills that role. but it's also saying some other things, I guess, is what I'm saying too. It's also saying to the individual. It's always not it's saying to the situation. It's talking to me, but it's also speaking to each individual, of course. In there, this is what you have to do to go through to get Christ conscious. You have to do this. Like who do you know? I didn't memorize a man and woman's name in the script. I don't say and blah 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 blah. The lady. It's just men or women. You see, if you're a man or woman, you have to do this. That's what it's saying. So, does anyone has proof that you could do this another way? No. So, the answer is de facto, yes. It does fill that role. Uh, that's a booth I'm running in a carnival. Yes, uh, that is a booth, but it's not. But it's me being able to explain, oh, hey, this is, I'm running the booth. I'm not God or nothing like that. I'm over here working for God because I'm with God now and I do exactly what he says. And this is what he says to do, and this is why he says to do it. So that's why I do it. That's you go right straight back under orders, and everyone's like, how are you getting orders? What are you talking about orders? I'm like, no, you don't get it. Like I don't care. Or you try and kill me. I'm still doing my orders. So that's what ultimately happens. What a great question. I mean, uh, I hope that starts an answer for you, uh, because that is an absolutely great question. It really is, man. You a long way, grasshopper. Uh, Jay, I'm a little slow on the uptake. I'm trying to do nav prime, but some parts confuse me. I'm gonna put out some more videos today. So good. If yeah, Frank feels a squeeze too. It's crazy, right? It's really I'm in harmony, releasing the information in a timed way to what has to happen under the dome. To those that love God, it's like you think you want the truth, but can you handle the truth? In other words, the truth is information, but when you know it, can you handle the responsibility of it and what happens in here? Because the truth has a reaction, just as a lie has a reaction. If everything is dharma bait, is a law, common law, and it's good or bad, and tell the truth and lie, like, you know, massive reaction out there. That's all that's going on. Once you see it, you're like, oh, so it's a squeeze once you get the information. It's very, you could see like, oh, hey, this whole place is infinite. Wow, this is amazing. And then it's like get closer to the truth. It's like this. Wait a second, I no way I can get my camel through that eye of the needle. How am I going to fit through that eye of the needle? Oh, what? Yeah, you told me about the camel, but you didn't say I had to fit in that thing. No, no, think about it. No, it's a tight squeeze. I'm with you. And so pray for our help, but pray for others' help because they're having trouble out there. Like I know you are, I know we all are. It's just I've never. It's been many years since I've had it so rough, so I know you all are too. And I know it's a pre-planned thing. So you know, chin up. It's not you. This is us winning the game. You know, it just gets harder as we go on. So you just have to know that, like. The big crescendo at the end of the thing is like the tempo picks up. It's like, okay, no, I've been dancing for how many years? It's like, yeah, but if the head dance more, but that's a little faster. It's like, I don't make the game, I'm just trying to help by pointing out the information so you have some information to help you in the process too. That's all, you know. I need that strawberry cup you have, Timu. Oh my god, that's so awesome. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Why do we have to stay around and live with them? Oh man, that's the thing, to forgive them and to uh you know, that's so funny. That's exactly what Gypsy said. He's like, man, all I gotta do is swim out in the ocean there and then I just go as far as I can and then I can't swim anymore and I'll be with God. I'm like, yeah, but you can't do it that way. He's like, why? I said, I was like, portal opening, God, because I need to answer here. Because we have to forgive them and show we took the right path and they took the wrong one. You see? We have to be here and be unkillable and miracles happen around us and all this stuff. And they have to see that our choice is better than their choice. So, yeah, that's why. Super fun, right? It's like, uh, it's like, the one where they throw rocks, so you drop in the water tank, but no water tank, and it's just you and rocks. It's not like that, but it's just, another one in that. Yeah. Yeah. Free will with the was, yeah. Can't J to be given dispensation for an official separation of a household. What you got a cat that can't walk anymore? You're gonna quit feeding it? Come on. Sorry, you have to go through that. Yeah, no, sorry. You stop wanting to live and you start seeing the passageway out of here. That's good. If I tell someone, please don't walk, I just mopped, and they do it anyway. If they slip, right? You're funny. But it's like changing diapers forever for someone that never grows up. That's just the job, and it gets you out of here. You said you'd do anything to God. You remember you said it. I remember when I said it. So anything is anything. Anything is exactly what you don't want to do. That's what anything is. Exactly what you don't want to do. That's anything. Uh, you know, like, hey, anybody kneel at my feet? Whoops. I knelt at your feet first. All best you could do was even it up. Could never I went first. You see, this game has meaning. Like breaking the trail first has the most spiritual points, showing others is good, and not being able to strap it onto your ego and making it who you are, that's almost an impossible feat. You know, you have to just absolutely not care about this world to care. Oh, hey, you're doing great stuff. Yeah, whatever. And that the dome's still up. So thanks, but the dome's still up. It's like the dome's still up. So I haven't done anything yet. I'm working on it though. Oh, Alan, thank you. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Would you agree that Acts is also saying there is a spiritual hierarchy? It is, and that's another thing that is so hang with me. You really got this gist of it. It's you think them apostles want to be them apostles, and okay, it's kill him or bring him to God day. It's like, oh great, what a what a love going to the office today. Murder another husband and wife. It really, you have to have an absolute complete understanding of the situation to do that. And the only thing that places you in that place, of knowledge to be able to carry out those conversations with those individuals entering that room is the knowledge that you work for God and you're totally just nothing compared to God. And you're absolutely tuned in with God. So you not make a mistake, you're doing your best. So that you don't do no miracles, or you make no decision, God runs it all. Period. Period. Spiritual hierarchy is the hierarchy of knowledge of that simple fact that, you have to know from God, meaning you have to know this whole game and the rules and every detail in it, because God isn't sitting there right in the room. Hey, God, blah, blah, blah. This is absolutely unbelievably difficult to ask for a message from God, receive it, say it, uh, and make the vessel prepared to contain that ability. The infinite combined with the finite is an absolute impossibility. And miracles are an expression of that impossibility. So, but that's really explains that our whole thing is a miracle. You see what I'm saying? Like the rest is simply smoke of miracles. Smoke of miracle, smoke of miracle. See, it is smoke of mirror. It's smoke of mirrors, but really everything's a miracle. And behind that is what God's the only explanation. You see, every time you're like, no, I got a much sharper. We're gonna get deeper into this. I carve. This is the sharpest. We're going in all the way, and all you're gonna find is God at the edge of everything. So the sharper your knife of trying to understand what our situation is, the cleaner cut you're gonna make right straight to God. Uh, so. Yeah, I see that there's a spiritual hierarchy, but it's only based on that knowledge right there that I told you that God is real. And it comes from interaction with the devil and God. You see, it's not like, dude, I totally decoded this passage in this book. What? Here it is. You know, it's not, that's not what makes it so you can sit here and say, oh, I'm hearing from God and this is the answer. What kind of karmic weight would that put on your shoulders after more than a decade of saying that? What? You're good at, like, if you watch a rap thing about the devil and stuff, like, you're gonna be dead 2 seconds from now. You never make it past 27 or maybe 17, or you just no way. Like, there's no way to carry on. Like, you just become absolutely, like, torn to ribbons. And off you go on the conveyor belt to hell with everyone else. Oh, going to the meat pile. So yeah, there's a spiritual hierarchy. That's the only methodology for getting back to, being one with God, is you have to be trusted. You have to. You're asking God, listen, I want to entrust my soul back to you. And God's like, that sounds pretty good on your end. So what you're asking God for to do is what? Oh, you're sure you're saying I can trust you now? God is saying, oh, so you want me to trust you? Yes. So that means I can trust you. Yes. You see what I'm saying? That's when it happens. That's when it all happens. You see, and God's like, oh yeah, oh you really, you really trust me? Well, let me try you with this next situation. This is all what Dini's talking about. You see, if you're not being tested to so far past your limits that you absolutely pray for death pretty much year after year, day after day, uh, that you're not ascending higher spiritual plays, you're not ascending through the spiritual hierarchy, you're not doing it because you're not having a response to what God is making you go through. You gotta, you have to, your ego has to die. You have to say, well, without God's help, like, so you're constantly doing your best, which is nothing compared to what they have against an infinite, under the dome. We make everything pop out of the ether. We have everything. What? What? And you have what? God? Oh, they're like, well, in the past that hasn't worked out for us so well. So, oh, never. Yeah. So, but it's a very crazy limited script. Even Jesus, Mayor Baba. I'm not like I said. I met with them, so I know they're real. But behind all that, once you're in the time loop and stuff, can you see yourself stepping out? at some point and just see yourself stepping out of this? And can't you see yourself? Like it has happened. You came into this body, so it will happen. You see? So can't you see yourself doing that? And when you have that moment, because after you meet with God, that's the only thing I think about pretty much ever is doing my best. And if I don't have the wherewithal or stuff, I try to eat or take a break or whatever I have to, because I can't do this work and sit here and do it and not do my best. That's impossible. Because I've already met with God, so I know exactly where I'm going to be dealing when this body goes away. And I know who we're going to be interacting with. And I know that I'll never measure up. No way. Uh, but I can only do my best. But that moment has to be relived. I have, oh, go back in the body. Wait, okay, but that means something. Yeah, you're coming back and you'll be right here. It's like, oh man. So, but isn't that doing what the we do? You see what I'm saying? Can't you see that drives her all day, every day? They're silent. Don't they know they're working for God? Don't they know don't they know everything? Otherwise, wouldn't they give up? This is not, you know, this game doesn't get easier. This game is the same. They'll never say. They won't say. And that's why. You see what I'm saying? Because if they don't keep it fair and the same, you can't wear your soul. If it's easier for you, then what? I had it harder. That's not God. That God won't go for that. God don't go for that. He don't go for that. You're saying God's not fair. You know nothing about God. No way. Not possible. And they know that. Can't you see it? And they're never ending, continuing being the same. You're like the sea breaking up against, the rock of Gibraltar. That thing ain't gonna break. Not ever. Never. It's never. That cube is gonna remain. It's for you to do your work and to help us see who your brothers and sisters actually are. And it's all of them, because that's who's under here. And you have to go, push that ball up the hill and make it all the way up the hill, because they're all watching the whole time. And one of them is going to break and make a run for it and fill your slot after, if you do it. So, yes, every breath you take is for them. So, how do you not love your brothers and sisters in bondage? Because your breaths you're taken after the truth and living the truth are for them. They're not for you. You already won. What's there left to do after this? Nothing. All right. Good question. I went into that a bit, but man, it's very pointed. What you're always poking right one needle in the right spot. Good for you, Al. Jay would like to talk to you on the phone, Dee. Oh, that's sweet. He wants to be supportive. Isn't that nice? Your brother wants to be supportive. Jay's so sweet. This one is Marsh Pit Fans, right? Chilling in the city for many years. It's time to move on, please. Yeah, no, don't work like that. Like, quit having that want. That want is a want. Just don't. It's still a want. Do I want to feed the cat? No. Hey, Marlon, I'm feeding the cat. Did I bring the cat into my life? No. But cat can't feed itself. I'm not mad at Merlin. Makes sense? Okay. Yes, begging not to be here anymore. Thank God. I do all the time. That's fine. You see, that's, a spiritual advancement to know, hey, when you leave the body, you leave the game you won. So why wouldn't you want to win and be with God and not play the game again? That's just understanding the game. That's just a smart reaction. I'm not going to kill myself, but I've had my fun here in whatever you want to call it, hell or earth or whatever. Whatever. Okay. I Jack talks about dancing at the same time I say chill in the sheet. Yeah, he's so what I'm thinking. Yeah. Well, how's this life not a dance of death? Dance around it to the end. If you're happy when you do it, that's what God said, be happy. What? You're working for me. How can you not be happy? I'm sending you all these difficulties. Does it make you happy? You're like, so you really have to understand God. You see, in the game, few get out. So few. Well, God doesn't want you unless you get out and play the game fairly and win. God, that's the nature of God. And for me, I'm cool with that. I want to leave because I want to be treated fairly. I want the game to be so difficult that the rest can't make it out of here. I want that. I don't want them over there with me. And I do want God to be fair. I'm missing fairness in here. So for me, I'm cool with all that. I don't want it. It's not that. It's not like I'm a masochist or nothing like that. It's not. But I just accept that God has everything and do my best. And that can be very difficult at times. This is a time. When I decode revelations, that would be a time when things would be difficult. Yes, that would make sense. You see, I'll pray God forgive a women. Believe it. That's funny. Drinking a martini. Not really. Water. Right. No, I got the dollar store cup making it look nice here in Florida. you know, okay, it's not directly from Timu, but it's from Dollar Tree. Right over there. Oh my goodness. Uh, Dear God, please let me go on and find my path with my son Romeo. You know what your path is. You already know your path. Just keep walking on it. J Baba. Uh, Going to the beat by the hell. That would suck. And that's pretty good prod to keep us on the path. I agree. I agree, Jay. So, you really have to have an understanding for the situation. I mean, are like this guy. I was at a drum circle. This is some months ago. I, I think it's before I went to India, and this dude close to my age, living in his van, had a giant parrot, giant one of the giant, super colorful. Where you think parrot, one of them. Uh, red and bunch of color, blue and green. Like what that parrot, hit one of them. And it would be on his shoulder, or he'd leave it in a cage in his family and live with it. Uh, and he was always sitting around the drum circle like, "Oh man, you dancing with those women and stuff." I'm like, "Dude, what? No, I pray for God. Like, what are you talking about?" And he's always like, "Oh, she's so hot," or whatever. I'm like, dude, that's not you don't have right thinking, man. They be like they're shapeshifters, man. Like, don't even can't be thinking like that. Uh, so what you see behind what the form is, it's like, uh, you know, you know what they had to do to make themselves appealing for that many years, and it's just not worth it to me, So like that stuff doesn't happen by accident to become a thirst trap. It's like, no, that don't interest me at all. In fact, there's a part of the Bible that's about I don't have the exact I've seen it a couple times recently come up, and it's just because you could the thought is just because it's in Psalms someone that's thank you. Just because you can overcome temptation doesn't mean you should be in a place of temptation all the time. And I kind of disagree with that in a way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, not all the time or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? But I go to the drum circle regularly. I'm like, I'm never leaving the gladiator pit until the pit is done. Where I'm done. The gladiator dies or the dome dies, one or the other. That's all I got. I don't. I'm not gonna have any. There's nothing else. You see, that is the way it is, and that's the way it will be until my sword takes it. Reaches the heart of my enemy and ends the game, and that's it. I don't. There's nothing else for me, and then I don't want anything else. Uh, you see my two children sitting next to me. I don't see them. You see him? I don't see him. Yo, my thirst for this downfall. Oh, they fall. Good. Little have that sky fall on 'em again. They apparently ain't got their lesson. They don't have a heart. They don't have courage, and we have to show them courage and what a heart is. That's our job here. They don't have that. Ain't none of them. That demon horde coming out of China where they put up the walls to keep them in, they don't have a heart. They don't have a heart. They're sending just they're spending all day things pop out of the ether that aren't quite right that nobody actually wants, and then you're shipping them all the way, and then they just suck. With a giant pile of Timu junk, like that's actually their whole. That's it. It's incredible. If that ain't hell, what is let's send your desire, but not quite. You know, let's send there. Oh, okay. And that's what we find ourselves in here. So, uh, whatever Sanskar is desire, not for things, for an outcome. For I wish it was just me and my son here. Why? Don't, you know, don't wish for nothing. Don't do that. Wish for God. And then if you have a problem, you say, God, solve my problem. This is the problem I'm having. Solve my problem. Absolutely no possible way you could come up with a better solution that God can come up with for anything. Anything. You know? Okay. Wow. How did we get to this amount of time this fast? It's crazy. I probably have some notes here. I would get through nothing. We just had some great questions today after. That's why I felt like we needed a recap today, sort of get into major issues. Thank you for your help with that, everyone. We make sure to skip nothing here. Uh, I guess I want to just sort of go over for a moment. I mean, it's a very difficult game. It is. We find ourselves in this human body. Oh, I'm human. I don't know. There is a spiritual hierarchy, as Alan was mentioning, and we're at the top of that. We're humans in a body with our memory wiped, and we can't read people's mind, and we don't know the script. We have to figure it out. That puts us at the top of the spiritual hierarchy. Let me explain it to you. That's perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. For any oh, that's better. That's even better for a golfer, right? Uh, First day playing golf, and you would have fun play with golf with like Alan, who's really good at it, who has a handicap. Yes. So you know, we get handicapped in this game of life. Memory wipe, no power, no, don't know what's going on. Uh all the can't read minds. Don't have a high mind. Don't know every script up and Apple's going up. Like we're going on what we're told and stuff like that, and we're realizing none of it's true. If you're living life like that, then you're at this top of the spiritual hierarchy. You actually are. You're not a fallen angel. You're not one of them. So you're totally not one of. You're not in that form. You see what I'm saying? spiritual hierarchy wise, you're past all the shape shifting, you're past all the foundations, you're past all the forms. So you got to remember, like, you're playing the game for real. That's the spiritual hierarchy. Do you see it? You see it? And these other, and why are you trying to be a human? It only is telling you that you're about to win the game if you just play your cards right. Do your actions properly. You can win. That's what it's telling you. You don't want to go backwards into what they have or what they want or none of that stuff. You're like at the end. You're like, oh, you see what it's saying? You have such a high handicap. You need to add so many strokes, and we'll see how it goes right at the end. Right? Same with running a race. Like, oh, hey, let me. I didn't watch any Olympics, or I think we had Olympics. I don't know. I think it's. I really. I think we had Olympics. Anyway, so the metaphor being like, uh, if you're running a race, and let's say you're running against a child, you know what I'm saying? Well, start in the same place. One of them starts way back here, and then the child starts to like they have a very short way to go, but you're running super much faster, and then we'll running the tape. We'll see how it goes. You see what I'm saying? That's how concerned they are about us in this situation. That's how God views our abilities here based on who we are, not in this form, but actually who we are. You see? We're respected and feared to that level in that game to be given that level of handicap. You see what I'm saying? We're the pros up in here, period. And they worried about us. And so they're here to, you know, in a nice way, because they have it's not like probably can't kill wood, not for real. Gotta put them right back to life or whatever. Uh, but they're trying to keep us headed in the direction for God, and now we're starting to see that. At this point in the game, it's like, oh man, I'm gonna, it's a point where we're really catching up to them. You see what I'm saying? I have all your knowledge and stuff, and it's like, we're just about to go like that, right? That's what point in the race we are in the game. See? And so that means at that level of speed going by them, some evil track character, they might try and trip us, they might try anything. We've learned from them. We're watching them up front of us forever. The giants running way out in front of us. We've watched them. And so we give them a little space and head on to the finish line because they are going to do every evil thing. We've jumped over all the things they've dropped and all the things they've said to have us not catch up to them and all that stuff. But spiritually, it ain't about catching up on the things. It's about catching up on, dude, I saw your stuff and I don't want it. Just, I want God. Get me out of the game. Very complex game. Great game. Thank you for the free pass to Disney World. Doesn't feel free. You know, it doesn't get me out of here. Okay. I think it's really important that you see it that way. That these are kind of unlimited being like ourselves playing in that form over there. And so are we. Because otherwise you are driven mad by them and their behavior in here. They are so spiritually down the ladder from us and heartless that we have nothing in common with them anymore. And so there's no reason to be here. And God does want us to come home. You have to see that. Because, you don't even want to swat a mosquito. You're like, stop drinking my God, Florida, you know? It's just the way it is. Like, you could let some of them get sick, but after a while, I just don't want to be in mosquito land anymore. I read the brochure. I thought it was going to be good, and it's not. Okay. Yeah, lost the notebook. uh, no car, broken car. Anyway, any donations that come in, definitely appreciate it. Thanks for the one that have come. My position here is, oh, you're saying it's near the end and, get prepared for the difficulties. I get them all first. So It's hard. It's a hard time. I know it is. It must be for you all too. So, but we're just catching up to our arrival. We're just about to blast past them if we don't slow down and take a look and like get sucked into their whatever. Okay, it's very hard up here. Liberty Academy is such a hard business too. It's like the hardest business. I don't know if I'll be able to continue with this mentor thing. I'm gonna try and keep it up for one more month anyway. Like if I'm not out there doing the selling and stuff, it's just like if I'm not out there being the barker, we just nothing happens. So I just always want to get more advanced in the financial and spiritual information, but they just keep dragging me back and make my life harder, so I never get a chance to hardly do that. But I am a few weeks ahead in that work already, so I'm just going to try and catch up. Hopefully, I do. All right. Uh, like crabs in a bucket. No, it's definitely like crabs in a bucket. But eventually, you know, it is like crabs in a bucket. But listen. If you really understand your crab in a bucket, is there a way out? If 10 crabs have your claw and you're just about to back out of the pot, how do you do it? I'll give you a hint. It's like a crab. I used to catch crabs in the Chesapeake Bay as a child, so I know all about this. There is an answer to this, actually. It's like a crab. Anyone? You'll help sell. That's so sweet, Jamie. Yeah, come on the live thing on Thursday. We'll have you live. I'd love to have you help sell and give your experience. Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone have a crab allegory? Frank and Gina? Come on. Anyone know how crabs, what they do? Come on now. Alec. Anyone? I've done it. I've explained it. What? It's perfect. This is such a good metaphor. You molt, right? Crab opens up the back of the body and leaves the body. Yeah, you can have my body later. God will get me a new body. So, did that crab die? It took the old body and it went in a new body. Crab never stopped breathing or living. This is a perfect metaphor. It really is. I love it. So no, here, have my old crab body. See ya, crabbies. You get it? You understand? You ever see a crab bolt? That's how they do it. Come out the back. It pops open on the back, and then they're bigger. You know, they come out, and then within 24 hours, 12 hours, something like that, uh, their shell gets hard again. Yeah. So I mean, and insect, you know, things that have an exoskeleton. In other words, their skeleton is on the outside. You know, as same like caterpillar into a butterfly. Like, you know, it's it's what we have to do. You have to see you're not this form. They're not this form either. But can you see that? Can you see they're just it, it is like a video game, except for it's not. It's like a god video game, like it's physical. This is all, you know, as real as reality is, but it isn't real. The real parts of it are you and me and all these individualized consciousnesses playing all these roles in all these different forms. Those parts of this game are real, and those things feel things and are said thoughts and ultimately think things and ultimately feel things. It's the process. Like a crab doesn't mold once. It has all these different forms that it goes through. There's a great book on Chesapeake Bay called Beautiful Swimmers, and it's about crabs and all the different forms they go through and physically where they do it and what part of the sea is so on. It's quite a book. It's supposed to be written by someone, obviously, is it? God writes all the songs, or God's shadow writes all the songs and books and movies and everything in here. and they're always the same. They never change. So, we're beautiful swimmers. God is the ocean outside this thing. Like, we're just swimming in the ocean. Like, that's it. But we're not the form here, and God's not the form of the ocean is. It's this seed realm is just this limited place to play this game. The unseen realm that doesn't have any limits. You can't even see it. How can it have limits if you can't even see it? See, that's hard. How can you overcome that? And yet you see that it exists. So, bringing us to the end of Revelations and this talk about it and this recap and so on, uh, I hope I've given you some idea truly of the game that you're involved with and how to win it. And, you know, I don't know, could it ever happen that someone actually think that I actually won the game fully? You know what I'm saying? That I'm first through. Because if you actually do that, then you actually agree that there's spiritual hierarchy, and you yourself agree that, hey, I must be in it, which your ego sort of weirdly is a jeopardy at that point. You see what I'm saying? Has this weird place where it's like, wait, they won, but they won by bending the knee to God. And your ego goes, oh, that means I'm never going to win. It's like, yeah, you're never going to win. So it gets into a tough spot there at the end. Fights hard. But who you are and, you know, your love for yourself and your brothers and sisters and your love of God won't accept anything less at some point. You're like, I just can't accept that this whole game is just false and I need the real reality. I need God. I can't accept doing this. Like we're here from Didi, this is the last one and for sure I don't, but those individual things that make us not want to be here, they all get forgiven. It's like, thanks for making up this giant Disney World. I just don't want to go back. Whatever Disney has, it's a new Epcot Center or something. I know it's not actually new, and I don't actually want to see it. Okay, great. Just where is he? Okay, that's where's God? He, she, where's the one that is not he or she? Where is God? You see, where's God? That's all. Just show me the God. That's it. That's what I want. Okay, that's only nothing else. It's hard. It's hard. And we're at the end of that race. We're getting near the end of it, so it's getting very difficult. Okay, so just realize that you have this knowledge and that has put you in a certain situation that you have to accept, and that's good news. That's you at the top of the heap in Acts 5. You've done all the giving, and you're like, okay, I gotta hang out. Isn't this really loving your and understanding your brothers and sisters? Do you not get that? You see, we're in Disney World. They made us get to the end of Disney World. Now we have to look back and be like, hey, you know what? I don't want to. God actually makes us do this for a reason, because at the end of winning the game, we would never want to be here. But if you really want to even the scales, you see what I'm saying? Why did I bring up? I knelt in front of you first before you knelt to me. What? You live, you beat the game, but you stay for them. Hey, I'm running this booth over here and the devil can't kill me or nothing. Like the devil can totally kill us. It's like, yeah, but devil totally can't kill me. So why don't you come on over? You see, we have to run that. We have to man the booth. You see, you have to play the game and then man the booth at the end. Oh, hey, just wait around to the end of the game over here in the winner's circle. No, you have to wait in the winner's circle. They have to see you over there. Have to. Or their life is purposeless. So is yours. So is the whole game. And God has no purpose. No. Okay? So I think that covers a wrap up. I'm fine with any questions as we go forever or Revelations. That was a good dive into this situation we find ourselves in. And with that information, we can get some traction up in here And my only goal after winning the game again is sort of trying to explain to you in this situation, we're here to pray for them and forgive them and, help them as best as we can by keeping it, as Buddha says, equanimity, you know? I mean, you have to form the proper image of, if it's an infant with full load of the diapers, of course they're going to cry all day. Who put that load in their diapers? They did. Okay, well, they're still going to cry all day. It's still going to be absolutely brain and ear shattering all day. That's the place we find ourselves in once you have the actual knowledge. And, make sure you never want to come back. Okay? All right, everyone. Uh, we'll go on to our the other team in the game, eh? The one who knows, and how to have a meeting. Because if you don't get that meeting, are you leaving? I don't know. Can't say. I had to have the meeting before I knew. So I think we got to go into it. Okay. So what I can't have you lose, because then if everybody loses, I would win. That ain't the goal. I didn't follow commandment 2. I screwed it up. Can't do that. Y'all are doing good. So it's just progress. We got some time left. Okay. We're gonna make the best of it. All right, everyone. Really, picture me as I'm a beggar on my knees here. I don't have much, so any donations are appreciated. Thank you. All right, yeah. Alan, thanks for the support, and God bless the new family to come and all that. So happy for y'all. Yeah, God bless you too. In the name of Jesus Christ. And thanks for everyone sharing deeply your experience. I think it helps each other, to have these individual foxholes. 666, right? Right, Jay? I know you got a foxhole. I know your last name. So, here we are. And we find ourselves absolutely, completely surrounded on all sides. And so we have to keep in contact and, keep our hearts up. Yes? All right. Hearts up to God. All right, everyone. Next Sunday, okay? Uh, I'll see you next Sunday. God willing. Inshallah. Hey, God, if you move into that, we get out of here early thing, I think we're all cool. Okay. No votes against. All right. Unanimous. All right, everyone. God bless you. I'll see you next Sunday. Okay. Have a wonderful week.